Yeah, hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. Just a quick update as we're heading into the weekend. Until a few weeks ago, the weekends were always supposed to be very, very boring. Yeah, and we expected very boring weekends. Well, it has changed a few weeks ago, and therefore, actually, I'm looking forward to the weekend. Last few weekends have been quite interesting. Saturday is still a bit slow, but we had a few pumps here and there. It will be interesting to see how this weekend is going to play out. But certainly we've had interesting weekends, absolutely, which was quite a bit of a welcomed change compared to what we had, basically until October this year, right? So from January to October, pretty much all weekends were boring, but that has changed. And I've already mentioned weeks ago that we had a bit of a phase change in the crypto market. And that was then confirmed by the breakout of Bitcoin, which happened afterwards. So yeah, that's all the early indicators sort of have shown us the way. And now we are, again, on late Friday here. And maybe Saturday, Sunday will be interesting. You know, maybe not so much for Bitcoin, but for altcoins, as they have woken up, we might see some interesting developments. Now looking at Bitcoin, yeah, so far it's still holding support. It is holding support. So it's still on very, very thin ice here, but the ice is getting a bit thicker. But that is not yet convincing what happened here. I mean, so far it has done exactly what we wanted in the last couple of days, Bitcoin, right? So a couple of days ago, we talked about the price was up here. I highlighted to you, okay, that's a possible wave one, okay? So we want to have at least a pullback into support, which happened then yesterday. It was quite a sharp drop, but it never broke our 78.6 retracement level. For anybody who's not so familiar with Elliott Wave and how the Fibonacci work is done, we typically in a wave 2 do not want the price to break below the 78.6 retracement. Well, it can break, but it should not break and sustain below it. So what we want to avoid, sustain below is always a little bit of a subjective term, but it reflects the uncertainty in the markets, right? So nevertheless, what I normally highlight or mean with sustaining is this. So we go below and then we consolidate a little bit below that level. And then that typically means we go down further, yeah? So that's sustaining, or it breaks down, recovers, and then takes out that low again. So that's sustaining below. So when that happens, we typically assume that the setup will fail. It's like an early warning, because in Elliott Wave, traditionally, the way you see a lot of people use Elliott Wave, it is typically that they leave a 1-2 setup in place and as a likely scenario until the beginning of the wave 1 is taken out. Okay, but that is basically another, on the Bitcoin chart, another roughly 2% drop. Yeah. Now that's not so much here for Bitcoin, but that can be quite a bit for altcoins sometimes, depending on the magnitude of the wave 1. This here is a very small one. We're on the 1 hour chart. Again, yeah, it's valid. You know, a 1-2 setup is valid, as even if the 78.6 Fib level is broken. But with our work with the Fibonacci levels, you have to combine Elliott Wave with Fibs. So a lot of people just place the waves randomly. I always call that wave guessing, because they don't do the Fib work, the work with the Fibonacci levels. And we use Fibonacci levels to condense as much as possible the most probable scenarios. So if I know that below the 78.6 Fib level, it typically will break most of these setups, then I can adjust my plan, right? Can adjust my strategy. Just a bit of a educational exercise here as we're heading into the weekend. But yeah, I mean, it's been holding support. I did explain to you in the previous video, it did come down quite aggressively, but we always see them turn around at an instant. So the color of the candle can't really guide our decision. The question is support holding or not? At the moment it is, but what's happening here is not yet convincing. I want to see a more sustained break above this 36,650 level, which is the Friday high, or today's high basically, and then we could go in a third wave. If it's failing and breaks below support, and then we will see continuous roller coaster movement here, but ideally it's now going and would take out the wave 1 high above 37,950 and then follow through to 41K. But if we see a break below 35,450, things will have to be adjusted, and it could mean quite a bit of a drop then, because you have to be aware. So don't be shocked, but I think if that support level breaks, we have quite a bit of a move down because first of all, the wave 4, if we get a reset of wave 4, so this wave 4, which presumably bottomed here on Tuesday, if we get a reset of wave 4 lower, it can be quite a bit. Yeah, distance can be quite far away. And also, we are breaking below a trend line that has been in place now since, the 27th of October, basically. So it is quite a bit of a support area here. We're losing Fibonacci support, we're invalidating a setup, and we will lose a trend line. So I think that might create a bit of panic, maybe a little bit, or at least you will get a lot of stops triggered, because a lot of people will have a stop positioned either below this low or below this low. And what would be a target for the third wave? Now we can determine that by taking the length of the wave 1, then we go to the low of the wave 2, and we're typically watching at least for the 1.236 extension. If it's an impulse, better the 1.38 or the 1.618 extension. So yeah, we talk about here 39.5K to 41K pretty much. And then we can also calculate the targets for waves 4 and 5, but really only once we have the wave 3 in place. Otherwise, we will not really have a good idea of the next extensions that are coming. But that's what I'm paying attention to. Let's see if that is going to happen on the weekend or maybe even overnight, even though typically on Saturday, especially till early Saturday morning, we typically don't see much movement, even not now, when things have started to become, even not since things have started to become a little bit more exciting again. But I think that should give you all the information you need to know about Bitcoin and what's important as we're heading into the weekend. By the way, Bitcoin dominance is also starting to go up. Yeah, I think I shared that with you earlier today. Maybe quick look at the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is basically here. So we started to see a little bit of a green candle again, so touching that trend line, and it might get another high. Yeah, that's my update about Bitcoin. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter. There's additional content about trading, Elliott Wave, technical analysis, and some short-term signals as well. So check it out. Links are in the description. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.